hummingbirds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves,
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Hi friends, welcome back to 12 Days of Christmas. What wonders do you bring today, Dean?
Wonders and disappointment.
People in the comments were asking if you have a letterboxd.
I do. Some people have added me today, so I don't know if that was that.
Oh, maybe they found it. What's it called?
I don't know.
I'll link it down below, whatever it is. Okay, day 5 already? Crazy.
Crazy.
We will see. God. Already, I'm fucking... Oh wait, is this Tarantula? Oh my god, why can I not say that word? I used to own this DVD.
Did you?
Yeah, back in the day, like when I was like 17. But I don't remember it that much. I'm actually kind of keen to see this. Is this 40s or 50s? 1955? Yeah, 1955. Okay, no, I'm actually keen to see this. Haven't seen an old-timey kind of creature feature. Oh, sorry for anyone who's scared of spiders, look away now. Giant spider strikes, crawling terror, 100 feet high. And it's Universal. I love Universal. Okay, Tarantula is a cult extravaganza. Ambitious Professor Gerald Deemer has developed an astonishing new project, a special growth formula. Testing the formula on his innocent lab spiders in Arizona, he expects nothing more than it to double in size. But when it somehow escapes into the desert, it grows to a gargantuan size and threatens to destroy everything in its path. Reminds me of Honey, I Blew Up the Kids a little bit.
A little bit.
I love that movie.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously your tagline for this is cult extravaganza. That's what I got out of this.
Yeah, called extravaganza. Do you know what that is? It's Drag Race.
Oh.
I was trying to be funny.
Oh.
Bombed. Okay,
Thanks.
I'm excited to see this one. It runs for 80 minutes, which, I mean, older films are usually a little bit shorter. And I'm glad we have a little bit of range because like the last film we watched I think was from 2009. So yay, let's give it a go. Hi friends, I just finished watching Tarantula. I have a giant horse that is sleeping on me currently. Lucky you guys, you get Gromit in this shot. I don't think some of you know how big he is. I can't even touch his butt. He's so long. Anyway, I don't think he likes spiders, but I definitely do. And sorry if you are scared by spiders, I will not include any photos, but I will say you might want to give this one a skip. So the movie is directed by Jack Arnold, who does a lot of Universal films. He did Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is one of my favorites, The Incredible Shrinking Man, things like that. And this one is from 1955. I have seen this one. I have to have seen it in the past. I definitely remember having the DVD. Yeah, I really enjoy this kind of movie. I really like the Universal monsters and Universal creature features. Those are kind of my favorite films that got me into classic film. So for me, I really enjoyed watching this film. As I said before, what it was about, it is about a doctor who gets the inkling that something is wrong when a man shows up dead, and it all goes back to a scientist who is playing with these animals and experimenting on them and everything that can go wrong along the way. My favorite thing about these films, and especially this one in particular, is the way they do the special effects. Like the practical effects and how they make it work in these kind of films is really interesting. In this one, they actually used a lot of miniature landscapes along with the spider, and they used like air to dictate where it went. But what I was not expecting, and I didn't even remember this about the film, and it's pretty much the coolest part, there are a lot of scenes that are shot at dusk or at nighttime, or they make it look that way. And there's this incredible scene where it's like nighttime and this huge spider is overlooking this group of horses. And it is actually quite scary watching it slowly creep up the hill. And I don't know if it's the lighting has a lot to do with it, but there's a lot of these kind of dusk nighttime kind of shots. It's meant to be at nighttime, but it looks like, you know, just light enough because it's in black and white. It's really hard for them to use lighting to portray it a certain way without making it kind of a little bit bright, the backgrounds, especially since they're working not only in black and white, but they're also working, you know, with data technology and with these little spiders that they're trying to make look large. So there's a lot of factors into the way they shoot it. And I really like that idea, but I thought it was really creepy. Normally in Universal, like old Universal films, a lot of the scenes are done during the day. And there was just something really like almost eerie and spooky about it. And it's not a film that you assume would be scary. And I'm not scared of spiders, but I thought that that imagery was really cool and I really enjoyed that. A weird thing about this film is Clint Eastwood got a lot of his first minor roles in these kind of Universal horror movies, and in this film he plays a lieutenant, I believe. He plays one of the policemen who are kind of in the background, and he did this during his first few films. I think it was the first like 4 films. He was always in the background of these kind of horror movies. And the lead actress for this, Mara Corday, she is obviously one of the lead roles, but in her later films, the last 4 films I think she did, Clint Eastwood was actually the lead and she was in the background. So that's like a weird turn of events, but I thought it was something very interesting about the film. The film also has that epic music that we come to love in these kind of older pictures, and also has this amazing rock falling scene where I can't figure out exactly how they did it, but there's just so many cool practical effects that if you like the way films come together and thinking about the logistics behind it, I definitely recommend these ones because it's always so interesting to try and figure out if they're overlaying a scene with another one, trying to make it like translucent, or yeah, just what they're doing. Are the rocks just foam? Is things green screened? But in this one, the timing is just so on point, and yeah, I just think it's actually a really well put together picture. And there's even a moment where these rocks fall and the camera shakes, and I'm like, was that intentional? How did they like figure that out for the time? It's just really interesting if you're into technical aspects. Either way, it is a fun ride. It's not as simple as it seems. There's some other things that come into play with the way people look. They do distortion and things like that. Again, more practical effects. And if you're into that, I do think it's actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed this one. This is probably my favorite so far. But again, suited to a certain taste. I love these kind of films and I can understand how they're not everyone's cup of tea. Just like She Killed in Ecstasy. I know a lot of you out there like that film, or even Cat People, and it's not my kind of thing. This is my kind of thing. But you know, give and take, and I'm not here to argue about that, but if you haven't seen this one and you do like the old Universal pictures, I highly recommend it. I'm gonna give this one, I'm in between. I think it has a IMDb score of like 6.5, and I think that's really on point, because I know it's not really a 7 film, but I just really enjoy it, so I'm gonna give it a 7, screw it. I don't feel like it's a 6 for me, for sure. No, I'm gonna give it a 7. I would definitely rewatch this film. I think it's really well done, and I think the acting was great, the story was great, and the practical effects are great. So very happy with today's pick. But before I wrap this one up, I did not forget, this is PG, and this film had no sex scene. We did it. It only took 5 days, but we're here. And speaking of, today is a double feature, so I'm going to pass you off to future me for the next pick. I can't wait to see what it is. Good morning, day 6. Let's do it. I'm excited. The last one I liked, so it can only
Go down from here.
Ooh, 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 love this already. It looks religious.
I think this is the one
I don't even know what it is yet. Cult Girls. Okay, sleepwalk children into the Valley of the Death, or into the Valley of Death. I mean, this is such a play off Twin Peaks, to be honest. But anyway, I digress. This, the back looks so janky, but yeah, it's an M movie as well. Didn't even throw it into PG. Did you know the last movie didn't have a sex scene?
There is some nudity in that basic fact.
Okay, Dahlia and her two sisters grow up in a pagan apocalyptic cult led by ancient Baltic goddess of death and reincarnation. On one night of an important cult ritual, a police raid rescues Dahlia as cult members flee with her two sisters. Years later, wow, this really has gone through the whole fucking movie. Years later, as the guilt eats away at her, a newfound friend finds a potential link into the cult through a prominent and black metal artist in the woods. But the deeper Dahlia journeys on her quest for truth, the more it becomes a descent into hell. Okay, I've never heard of this before. And obviously I've done a video on cults. I've done a lot of work on black metal, Norwegian black metal. Yeah, I'm excited because I've never heard anyone mention this one to me. Maybe that's for a reason, but maybe you found a hidden gem.
Maybe not.
Do you want to take a guess at what my score will be?
I still can't believe you gave that other one a 4, so 3?
Do you reckon I'm going to score this 3 out of 10?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give it a go. I'm excited. You know how I feel about cults. I'm going to join one day. We just got to find the right one, so maybe this will lead me on the track. I'm not even sure how to explain what I just witnessed. All I know is it was not good. This is going to shock some of you, but that was an Australian film. Okay, I am glad I read that blurb. Even though it felt like it was giving away too much, in fact, I needed that context of the situation. That's pretty much all that happens in the movie. I mean, other stuff happens, but it's quite confusing. The movie follows a woman who was in a cult and her approaching this metal dude who's, I don't know. I really don't know how to explain this guy. But anyway, sorry, back it up. She finds this other guy who's a metal fan along the way, and they just randomly decide to go home together and not sleep together, just go home together, and, you know, sleep in separate corners of the house. What is going on? And then they go to find this metal dude, black metal guy who seems to have the answers. There's so many things that don't make much sense in this film. So much of this film is wasted. I do want to say that the film looks really, really good, and there's a lot of really nice cinematography, really beautiful scenes that are just captivating because of, you know, like there's fire in the background, there's these amazing skulls, there's bones, there's people dancing around a fire naked. There's lots of that kind of stuff. It's very like aesthetically, it gets there, and it even starts off with overly emphasizing this at the beginning where they have kind of like a TV report, and instead of, you know, when you have TV reports at the start of a lot of horror movies, they have them. They do it in a way where you just watch the TV report or you're watching someone else watching the TV report and it pulls out. In this film, they had the TV report sitting inside of an animated TV. It was kind of, it was a choice. It was a choice they made. They decided to go really far down the digital graphics stylization. And they kind of got stuck there. They did a lot of that kind of stuff, and it was really like overdoing a lot of things that made you kind of take a step out of the situation and think about why the heck they were I want to say overproducing, but it's not overproducing, but over stylizing these aspects and adding so much into these final touches when the storyline was so lacking. The film seemed like it was just a string of beautiful sequences and no actual storyline, really. There was a storyline, obviously, but it just wasn't anything other than the blurb. They try and add some stuff into the end, but a lot of it is just them following this woman trying to find out answers, and literally following her as in you know, some crane shots of her walking into a church or what have you, and you know, her walking down to this beautiful, because it's shot in a couple of different countries. It's shot in Australia, it's shot in Germany, and it's shot in Lithuania. So there's some of these really nice, you know, churches in the background and some guards and all this kind of stuff, and it's literally like a beautiful shot of a woman coming into focus with her bag walking behind her, and it has nothing to do with the storyline. It just takes up time, and the whole film goes for an hour and 20 minutes. You think that they wouldn't have that kind of time to spend, but it really is just a bunch of sequences put together with a kind of really shallow storyline. Even though it's meant to be about cults and things like that, it's just really shoving it down your throat, and it does it from the beginning. It doesn't let you sink into the characters and get to know them. Instead, it kind of just shoves all of this stylization down your throat from, you know, the first second of the film. So it's a lot to take in for very little payoff. I would say some of the acting is really shoddy as well. There was a guy at the start who did like a charity. He was doing like a soup kitchen, and he was quite good. I was like, wow, I'm impressed with this guy, and then never saw him again. And just a lot of the film, I don't know, it seemed like a lot of time went into this. This is an independent film. It looks like it was obviously done in a really small budget from what I was looking into it afterwards. But I feel like they just focused way too much on the aesthetic of it instead of making it like a film with soul. It had no soul, but I guess it's about a cult, so that works. I write down notes when I watch films, and I do want to read to you the first note I wrote about this film because I feel like it really sums it up. It says, the build-up for this film was so intense, but instead of luring you in, it trapped you. And I felt very trapped by this movie. I felt very offended by this movie. It was a lot, and I would not recommend it. And the fact it's called Cult Girls, like, what does that got to do with anything? It's about, obviously, the girls and what happened to them, but calling them cult girls, the whole thing is just disjointed mayhem. Anyway, you have to laugh or you're going to cry. I'm going to give this one a 1 out of 10. I do not recommend it, and that's coming from an Australian. I don't recommend this film. I do think it was shot really nice, and I wish that they just kept a couple of the beautiful scenes and actually put storyline into the rest. You think about epic movies, and really there's only a couple of scenes that are so stylized and aesthetically pleasing. You know, you think about The Shining, obviously a lot of The Shining is beautiful, but you think about The Shining, they just focus on a couple of aspects like the blood coming out of the elevators and things like that. I can't believe I'm comparing this to The Shining, but you know, the rest is built on the storyline. Obviously there's a lot of beautiful bridging shots, but it's built on a storyline. And in this one, it's just all of the beautiful shots with no storyline in the middle, and you kind of need that for it to flow. Otherwise, it just feels disconnected, disjointed, and very confusing. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are enjoying the series, please give it a thumbs up. I know a lot of you liked the 2-in-1, so we're doing it a couple of times this month so I can fit in some other cool content along the way. But I hope you're having a great day. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'll see you soon for another 12 Days of Horror or a different kind of video. I'll see you soon. Bye.